You're listening to BitTalk, a podcast about Bitcoin, money, freedom, and the ideas that matter. I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Lauren. Welcome to BitTalk. Let's jump in.
The promise of self-custody is total control over your Bitcoin. But for many, that reality feels like a terrifying responsibility. A single mistake, a lost device, and your savings are gone. A single point of failure. What if there was a way to build resilience into that control? To turn self-custody into shared security?
That's exactly what we're tackling today. We're demystifying multi-signature wallets, or multisig. It's not just for crypto institutions. It's a foundational practice for anyone serious about securing Bitcoin for a family, a business, or their own peace of mind. Think of it as requiring 2 keys to open a safe instead of just 1.
Perfect. We're going to break down what multisig actually is under the hood. We'll walk through why it's a security upgrade from a standard single-key wallet, the practical steps to set one up, and the real-world scenarios where it makes all the difference. Our goal is to move this from a daunting technical concept to an understandable operational tool.
I remember when it felt daunting to me too.
I'll admit, the first time I heard 2 of 3 multisig, it sounded like a math problem I wanted to avoid. But the core idea is as old as shared responsibility itself.
Exactly. So let's start with the absolute basics. What are we actually talking about when we say multi-signature on the Bitcoin network?
Great place to begin. So if my regular wallet is like a door with 1 lock and 1 key, what's multisig?
It's a wallet, or more accurately, a script on the Bitcoin blockchain that is programmed to require signatures from multiple private keys to authorize a transaction. The most common setup is 2 of 3. 3 keys are created, and any 2 of them are needed to sign and send Bitcoin.
And these keys are physically separate? That's the idea?
Absolutely. They should be generated and stored on separate devices. That's the whole point. 1 key could be on your everyday phone, 1 on a hardware wallet in a safe, and 1 with a trusted family member or in a bank vault. No single device holds the power.
Okay, so the control is distributed. But how does the network even know? Is this some special hidden feature?
Critically, this isn't hidden. The multisig script is recorded right on the Bitcoin blockchain. Anyone can see that a transaction required, say, 2 signatures. It's transparent, auditable security. You can't fake it.
Versus my standard wallet, where from the chain's perspective, it's just 1 signature from 1 key. If that key is compromised, the game is over.
It's the difference between a dictator and a small council. The council might be slower to make decisions, but it's far harder for one bad actor to seize the treasury.
I like that. Now, I've been hearing about related tech like threshold signature schemes, TSS, or MPC wallets. How do they fit in? Is that just a fancier multisig?
Great question. It's a key trade-off. Classic on-chain multisig is the bedrock we're describing. TSS uses fancy math, multi-party computation, to create a single signature off-chain that requires multiple parties. The benefit? It looks like a regular transaction on-chain, so it's more private and sometimes cheaper on fees.
That sounds better? What's the catch?
The trade-off? It's more complex mathematically, and the audit trail isn't on the public ledger in the same transparent way. For our focus today, the foundational, transparent Bitcoin native method, we're talking about the on-chain multisig. The council leaves a public record of its votes.
Got it. So, the why. We've hinted at it. It protects against a single point of failure. But let's get specific. What threats does this actually mitigate?
It protects against device loss, theft, destruction, and even coercion. Lose 1 hardware wallet in a fire? Use your other 2 keys to move funds to a new setup. Have a laptop with a key get hacked? The thief can't do anything alone. They'd need to compromise a second, separate device.
But doesn't managing multiple keys increase complexity and potential error? That's the immediate pushback I'd have.
It does. It adds coordination. This isn't for your petty cash wallet, your spending wallet. This is for your savings, your family's treasury. The complexity is the price of resilience. You're trading a bit of convenience for a massive upgrade in security.
Okay, so it's for meaningful amounts. Walk me through a classic family 2 of 3 setup. Make it concrete.
Sure. Key 1 is with you, on your primary device, maybe a hardware wallet. Key 2 is with your spouse, on theirs. Key 3 is a backup, perhaps engraved on a steel plate in a safe deposit box, or with a sibling you trust implicitly. For daily or major spending, you and your spouse sign. If something happens to one of you, the other uses their key plus the backup.
That's powerful. It's like a digital inheritance plan that's immediate and doesn't go through probate. What about for a small business?
This is where you can get into governance. Imagine a 3 of 5 setup with the founders. You can set transaction limits within the wallet policy itself. Maybe any 2 keys can move up to 0.5 BTC for operational expenses, but moving the main treasury requires 4 of 5. It enforces financial controls automatically, on-chain.
It turns a spreadsheet of spending approvals into code that the network enforces. That's powerful. And it connects right back to the themes we hit earlier this week about sound money and sovereignty. You're not relying on a bank's security policy or a will stuck in a probate court.
Exactly. It's about creating durable, predictable rules for storing value that outlive any individual. It's a personal monetary protocol for your family, resilient against personal disaster and the silent theft of inflation we talked about.
All right, a listener is convinced. What's the operational playbook? How do you actually do this without messing it up?
It's a phased approach. First, education and tool selection. Look at trusted, open-source, Bitcoin-only wallets that support multisig, like Spectre or Sparrow, or coordinated setups using hardware wallets. Understand the flow before you touch anything.
Step 2.
Key generation. This is critical. Generate each key independently on separate, secure devices. Never let a single device see all the private keys or seed phrases. That would defeat the entire purpose.
Right, then you bring those keys together?
In a way. Step 3. Wallet creation and policy setting. You use your software to create the multisig wallet by combining the public keys. This is safe. You're not exposing the private keys. This is where you set the 2 of 3 rule. Some setups let you add spending limits or whitelist addresses right here.
And then you're ready to fund it?
Not so fast. Step 4. Testing and funding. Always test on testnet first. Send testnet Bitcoin. Practice signing with different key combinations. Practice the recovery process. Pretend a device is lost. Then, and only then, start with a small, real amount.
Where do people typically slip up in this process? What's the hidden trap?
Backup failures. You must back up the wallet descriptor. That's the blueprint that tells the software which public keys and what policy make up the wallet. Losing that, you'll have your keys but not know how to reassemble the lock. Also, poor key storage. If you store 2 seed phrases in the same fireproof box, you've partially defeated the purpose of geographic separation.
Are hardware wallets essential for this?
For any key representing significant value, yes. A hardware wallet keeps the private key isolated and never exposed to an online device. In a 2 of 3, you might have 2 hardware wallets and 1 mobile key for liquidity. The goal is to eliminate single points of digital compromise.
I love the idea of a fire drill for your wallet.
I treated my first multisig test like a fire drill at 2 a.m. I unplugged devices, pretended one was lost. It's the best way to build confidence before the real thing.
So the path is clear. Learn, choose tools, generate keys separately, test relentlessly on testnet, then go live with a small amount. This isn't a weekend project. It's a skill you build.
Exactly. It's a foundational practice for securing meaningful amounts of Bitcoin. It accepts that humans and devices fail and builds a system resilient to that. Start learning today, practice on testnet, and move towards this standard for your family's sound money future.
To wrap up, Multisig transforms self-custody from a solo act into a collaborative security model. It's the antidote to the all my eggs in one basket fear. This is the kind of operational knowledge that turns Bitcoin from a speculative asset into a resilient, self-sovereign tool. It's how we actually use this technology for security and freedom.
Well said.
For links to beginner-friendly guides on multisig setups and testnet resources, check our show notes. Your homework: download a Bitcoin testnet wallet and find a tutorial. Get your hands digitally dirty.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for spending time with us on BitTalk. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep stacking knowledge.